TC Hafford Basement Systems podcast with Tony Hafford. I'm the captain. Hey, Tony, welcome back for episode 2.
Well, thanks for having us back, Captain.
Who have you brought with you today?
I have brought Mike Medore.
Hey, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
How long have you been with Tony and crew?
I've been with Tony for about a year and a half.
To kind of go back to episode 1 there, Tony, how did TC Hafford Basement Systems get started? And kind of what was the original vision that you had?
Yeah, so in 1991, we started doing commercial waterproofing locally. And then 1995, we joined up Basement Systems family. Here we are all these years later.
Mike, what do you do for TC Hafford Basement Systems?
I like to think that I help the company help people. Mm-hmm. So I'll meet with a homeowner, establish why I'm there, what sort of help they're looking for, and what's happening in their home, or even commercial buildings, because we do that too.
Right.
And really help the customer understand why they're having the problem they're having, and how it's going to be fixed, and then the right tools and products that we need to do to make that a permanent solution for them.
When you go into people's houses, Mike, what's the biggest misconception that people have about how basements work, how basement systems for you all work?
Well, I'll tell you, there's probably a couple, but something that I hear frequently that surprised me is that I've had people say to me that a basement is supposed to leak. All basements leak. It's Maine. Basements leak.
It's a given.
And so, you don't really want to get into a headbutting contest with somebody, but I'm here to tell you, folks, basements are not supposed to leak.
Oh!
I think where that comes from is we have a lot of old homes here in Maine.
Yeah.
We have a very large amount, percentage-wise, of older homes. And I think a lot of people are so accustomed, maybe they grew up in a house like that. And then they bought their first house that was an older house like that. And then they maybe upgraded to a house that's 20 or 30 years old with a newer foundation, but it's leaking, so they think it's supposed to leak. I think with all the marketing that we do and, telling people that there's help out there because your basements aren't supposed to leak, because along with all the water issues comes other problems that are happening to the home. So,
system design specialists. How many system design specialists, Tony, do you have for TC Hafford?
I believe we've got right around 20 right now.
That's incredible. How has, in terms of people going into people's homes and helping them find solutions, how has that changed for you over the years, not just in the amount of people you have doing it, but kind of that process?
Years ago, we'd go see a customer, and they would have a water problem. Yeah. And we would have a drainage system and a sump system, offer them that as a solution, and that's how you waterproof the basement.
Right.
Well, now with all things basementy, structural issues with the basement, the water issue, we can do some insulation and really transform the basement into a more comfortable space, as well as waterproof it.
So, when you walk in to a home now, what's kind of the first thing you're looking at as you're talking to a client?
Well, I try not to come in like a bull in a china shop, right? Because when you get enough experience with this, you get into a basement, you can visually start seeing everything you'd want to do. So the first thing that I do is really want to make a connection with a homeowner so that they feel comfortable telling me what's happening, because I don't want to make it transactional. Mm-hmm. I want them to tell me their story so I can understand really a comprehensive explanation of, here's the thing, when it comes to water, let's say, it's not just the fact that water's coming in. Everybody has their cross to bear when it comes to the water, because everybody has some sort of pain point process to clean up water. Yeah. So if they know that there's a heavy rain coming in, or it's spring thaw, a lot of customers have a set of towels in the basement that they throw down to make a trench.
Guilty.
Okay.
Sure.
And what happens with those towels when they're sopping wet? You have to pick them up. They weigh about 100 pounds. Okay. They're dripping. You have to throw them into the dryer.
Yes.
Dry them, which takes forever. So you really have to put them in the washer first, put them on the spin cycle.
It's gross, yeah.
Or people will have a shop vac or they'll lean a tote up against a wall crack that's pouring water in. And so it's not just the water, it's all the work that comes along and the emotional anxiety and stress of having to babysit this problem every time. And, not just that the water's coming in.
So for both of you, it's one, you're going into people's homes. It's kind of intimate may not be the word, but it's a very personal thing.
It's a very personal thing.
Right? You're going into their homes with all their stuff, and you're going to basements where we put all our life. How do you balance educating, but at the same time not overwhelming your customers? How do you both strike that balance?
Got to listen to the customer and find out what their expectations are when we're done. It's not what we want that basement to be like, it's what they want that basement to be like when we're done.
Right.
So by having that interaction, getting their input, building a solution that they're on board with and they're comfortable with is very important to keep from just throwing information at someone, and it might be information they don't even want.
Like Tony just said, it's what the customer wants, and there are different levels of solutions. Okay? Some people want a completely dry basement forever. That's the end of the story.
Yep.
Some people just don't want 3 feet of water in their basement. There's maybe a different solution there. So what not to do is make it, I don't want to be transactional with people. I want them to tell me what's happening and what they envision and what they want to have happen, because that's how I will present a solution to them. And I check in with them often. Does this make sense? Is this what you would like to have done? Because these are the results you'll get.
Yeah.
So that the customer feels like they're in control of what's happening in their basement. And if we give them a proposal and an estimate, that's predicated on what they want to have done, not what I want them to do.
Yep. Maine has so many different types of houses. What are some of the most unique situations that you guys have walked into and gone, wow?
I got a great one. So a couple years ago, was it 2 years ago that about this time of year the ocean got angry? And, yeah. So contractor friend of mine called me and said, "Hey, Tony, will you come look at this wall for me?" And I said, "Yeah, I will. So it was a customer of his down on the ocean. And I went downstairs, and the end wall facing the ocean had caved in about, 2 feet.
Right.
And there was about a 3-foot section of wall broken off and laying on the floor. And it's like, okay, we got this. So we dug a trench in the yard. We ran some rods out. We pulled the foundation wall back.
Right.
And then we poured a new structural wall to support everything.
That's incredible.
Working with the tides, right?
That's right. Mike, what about you? Situations that you've walked into that are super unique?
Well, I think, I don't know about unique, but when I came face to face with a possum in a crawl space that was rather angry, stands out in my mind the most. But, we deal with a lot of ledge here in Maine, and it's very common for basements to have partial slab in their basement, and then just ledge that goes right up to under the joists. So we have to get creative in how we solve that problem if they want it waterproofed, and that's it can be challenging. We've done it successfully every single time, but it takes a little more thought into the process.
And then the stuff you find along the way. We're talking about how basements are personal and you're going into people's homes. What are some of the most interesting things that you've found in people's basements?
Something that comes to mind really quick is there is an old federal era homestead in Belgrade that was on land that was granted by, I cannot remember which president, to a general who lived there. It's on the historical register now. So, but it's inhabited by some owners who have to maintain it a certain way. In the basement, which is very old, very rock walls, stone, there is a very large cistern with an inscription from 1842 on it. It's like a time capsule, and it's perfectly preserved. I found it really fascinating just to know that it's been there that long.
Yes. Tell me about an experience where you really made a dramatic difference. When you walked out of that project, you were really, really proud of it, and you had really, really made a dramatic difference.
When we have an older population here in Maine, The basement's probably the least visited part of the home for them for probably obvious reasons sometimes. And things kind of get out of control and they don't know what's happening sometimes. And I've been in one particular basement which had a very bad mold problem. Well, mold comes from excess humidity. It needs 70% or greater humidity, which your basement should never have that. Mold travels upstairs. The way that air flows in a house is through the stack effect. So whatever's down in the basement gets upstairs. And when you see mold growing upstairs in your closets or your cupboards, most likely those came from the basement, originated. This was not only a aesthetic looking issue for the homeowner, it was a health issue. And by us waterproofing this and keeping that basement dry, I firmly believe that we made a difference in somebody's physical well-being.
And their health.
Exactly.
That probably happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot to not only get the water under control, but to get that humidity under control and prevent the mold from being able to grow.
What kind of things are you seeing this time of year? Tony Hafford versus what?
You get a lot of surface water this time of year. When the ground freezes, you get snow on the ground, and then it rains, comes off the roof, hits the snowbank. And I've walked into a basement and seen water halfway up the window.
Right.
And spraying in both sides of the window.
Oh, my gosh.
And there was a lot of water in that basement, and it was resolved by resolving that window issue.
Yep.
And then the drainage outside to get the water away from that window.
Mike, have you ever walked into a situation where they didn't need something done?
I have. I've walked in situations where they thought they needed something.
Right.
And I've looked them in the eye and said, I don't want to take your money. I don't want your check.
Right.
Because nothing I do would improve or change what's happening. As an example, in the last few weeks, customer had a large crack in his foundation wall that was not structurally moving the foundation. The foundation itself was stable. There was no water coming through the crack. I advised him we could fill it, but there's nothing changing right now with it to monitor it. Customer ended up wanting some other sort of work done, which I ended up doing for him.
Right.
But, and sometimes if people's expectations, my rule of thumb and what I explain to customers, once I've given them a menu kind of what we need to do to fix that, I'll tell them that they can kind of make an a la carte selection as long as what they take out of those choices still provides them some sort of benefit. If it does no benefit, I'd rather not take their money at all, and they can call me another day.
Right.
So it's equally important to be able to tell somebody that it's not the right time if you don't need this. And unfortunately, I've come across a lot of people who have paid good money in the past to people who weren't willing to say that, and now they're paying us to fix it again.
For both of you, what is the best part of what you do?
I wake up in the morning. I'm excited to go to work. Rolling in about 6 o'clock because I want to get a few things done before everyone gets there.
The boss is in early, Mike. He's in early, man.
Thankfully, I only go to the office once a week.
Okay, good. Oh, my gosh, Tony.
But being able to go in and help someone with a problem.
Mike, what about for you? What's most gratifying working for Tony and for TC Hafford?
Well, gratifying is what a great environment that we have. Everybody's happy coming to work. Okay, we get to solve people's problems. That's, I think, the biggest takeaway is that I'm the good news guy.
Yeah.
When I show up to somebody's house, I'm able to present them with a fix to stop their problems. So I get to be the good news guy. People are happy to give me their money.
Right. Fix it.
They're happy to have us come do their work.
He's gonna fix it. Right.
And then, the other part is, and I talk to my clients about this a lot, is that our production crews are excellent. And when they show up at your house, foreman will introduce himself to you as the homeowner, review everything with you, see if you have any questions. And they're extremely polite, respectful. They smile at you when they look at you. They're not using the bathroom in your bushes. They're not doing things they shouldn't on your property.
Right.
They're there to work, and to respect your home. And I've had those situations in the past where a contractor shows up at my house and the crew doesn't even look at me. They give me the stink eye like I don't belong at my own home. Yeah. And it's very awkward. I share that with my clients a lot when I very first meet them, that they're going to have a great experience with our production crews once they get there to actually do the work.
What are you most excited for about with the future of TC Hafford Basement Systems?
Our name is out there, and it continues to grow. Mm-hmm. And so that means nothing but more growth. We've had growth year over year in 2025. I don't know what Tony's actual numbers are for 26, but I see nothing but more explosive growth. And with growth comes opportunity for other people and more homes to fix.
Yeah. Tony, what about for you? What are you most excited about for the future of this company?
The steady growth has just been so fun. So fun to just continue to grow and not have those setbacks.
Yeah.
And, people ask me, hey, when are you going to retire anyway? And I'm like, huh?
Right.
Well, what am I going to do if I do that?
right.
I'm not going anywhere.
This is what you do.
Like this, this is what I do.
Listen, thank you both for coming in. Episode 2 of the TC Hafford Basement Systems podcast. Now it's a thing. Once you get a second episode, Tony, now it's, now we're rolling here.
All right.
Which is good. Go back and check out episode 1. Tony and I talking about the kind of the origin story of TC Hafford. TC Hafford Basement Systems, they'll fix
all things basementy.
There's episode 2. Thanks for listening.